Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at a blues that's played in two tempos. There's both a rhythm and a lead part. And this is so much fun to play. I had a blast in creating this jam track and writing this little part for this week's lesson. Everything that I played in the intro is going to be broken down note for note, and I'm going to explain all of it. I'm also going to explain the why behind it so that you can put it in context and you can start using these licks in your own playing. That's what the goal of all of these lessons are. So I've got this lesson split into two parts. In this video we're going to take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half, as well as download the tablature and the MP3 jam track, you can get all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP182. That's the lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with part one. So those of you that have played in a blues band realize that in the blues format, you've got to do some things to keep it interesting, and sometimes that requires a key change mid-song or even a tempo change, and that's what we're going to be doing in this lesson. We're going to be taking one tempo and we're going to be switching to another, and we're going to be alternating back and forth. And while we're doing that, we're also going to be playing a rhythm part and a lead part, so there's a lot to cover in this. This is going to be covering rhythm, lead, and even timing. So let me talk through the format. So it's in the key of E. It is a 1-4-5, so the chords are going to be E, A, and B. And then there's the two tempos. So the first tempo goes like this. And that's the first part we're going to learn in this video. And then it goes into this, and then it slows down while we're in the E part. Then it stays at that slower tempo through the A part, or the 4 part, I guess. And then we go, every time we go back to the 1, we go right back into that tempo. Now if you've got the MP3 jam track to practice with, that will keep you on time. So that's important for those of you that are premium members and have access. If you don't have access, that's okay. You can still follow along and learn all the notes. But if you want to really practice the timing portion, that jam track is critical to that. Okay, so let's look at how I'm playing this. So I'm starting by barring the first 4 strings here on the 2nd fret. That's really an A chord if you look at it. But the first note that I'm playing, that's just sort of where my index finger is in position. But the first note I'm playing is the low E string, or the low 6th string. So I'm doing a downstroke with my right hand there, and then I'm doing a downstroke and playing strings 4, 3, and 2. And then I'm doing an upstroke, taking my hand off the fretboard. So it goes like this. Alright, so the next thing that happens is a muted downstroke, like this. Just muted. So it goes. Hear it? And all I'm doing for that is I'm just resting my fingers here on the fretboard so it doesn't make a sound. It's just a rhythmic thing. And then I do this. That's just the open D string, or the open 4 string. It's an upstroke with the right hand. So we go. Then when I'm up here, I'm in position to come down and do a downstroke, and I'm going to hit that low 6 string, easy string to hit because it's the first one that your pick will come in contact with. I'm using my middle finger here and playing the 3rd fret 6th string to hit that G note. So we have. Let me do that slowly. Make sure you get that muted strum in there, right there. It's just almost just hitting the guitar. Alright, so after I hit this G note, I came up here to the 4th string and played this. And now all I'm doing is I'm picking the D note there, the open 4th string, and I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off on the 2nd fret, 4th string. And you can see it's a natural pull-off just by releasing your finger, and that's all it looks like. It's just like this. You can do that on electric or acoustic. It's going to work either way. Now, to get the timing going, you want to keep that tempo going. So tap your foot, set a metronome, play along with the jam track, whatever you've got. But this is how it should sound when it loops through. It should go like this. See that? So after I do, I don't know how many of those, it doesn't really matter. You just want to get the timing to do another downstroke back to your same loop, the same that we started that E part. Downstroke, upstroke, truncate it, So now the second time through I went, instead of coming and doing the little trill part, I went, there's the upstroke on the D, there's that G note, but then I hit the open 6th string for the E. So it alternates every other time. The first time it goes, the second time it goes, then we go back to, and then back to this. And it just back and forth between those two. Let's put it all together now from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now that's so much fun to do there. I mean, even if you don't walk away with anything else, you've got a great little rhythm that works over an E chord, also works over an E minor chord. It's kind of, it works either way. It's not really defined. Where it does become defined is when it slows down. Then it becomes an obvious major, or you could even say a 7 chord at that point. Alright, so now we're going to loop that 4 times, and it sounds like this. Now we come down to this, and then I went. Now let's learn that. So after I play that low E string, the open E string, I do 2 upstrokes here. Now what I'm doing with my left hand, I'm making an E chord. I just go ahead and get in position with my left hand for the E chord. That's easy to do. And then I do 2 upstrokes. And I'm hitting strings 1 and 2 when I'm doing those. Then I do a downstroke, but my pinky goes down here on the 3rd fret 2nd string. That makes that an E7 chord. And then I take my pinky off. So there's the upstroke. So there's a downstroke on the 2nd string open. And then I went, and what I'm doing for that is I'm just keeping the E chord down, but I hit the 3rd string. Do the same effect, but this time I'm on the 1st fret. So it's going between the open 3rd string and the 1st fret on the 3rd string. So, and then I do another upstroke on strings 1 and 2, and that completes that E7 part. Now what that's doing is that's kind of putting on the brakes at this point. So we've had tempo A, and then all of a sudden the tempo goes down to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it stays at this tempo through the A part. Then it goes right back to the other tempo. So let's learn the rest of that A part, or let's learn the A part. We haven't even got to that yet. And then that's where we're going to end this first video. And then there's another A part in the second video, and then there's also the B part. So that's what will be in the part 2 video. But anyway, let's move on to the A part. Alright, so now to get us to that A part, there's this little rhythmic thing that happens. So I played the... And then after that I went. So the first thing I did there was I just did a muted strum just to create a percussive element. And then I did an upstroke and I grabbed strings 3 and 4. Now if you can't grab those 2 strings, just try and grab either of them. Because it happens so quick it doesn't really matter. All that's doing is defining a little bit of a rhythm. And then as soon as I played those, I hit the 3rd fret 6th string with a downstroke, and then another downstroke on the A string, or the open 5th string. So when we put it together, it looks like this. See how that gets us right into the A part from a timing perspective? Instead of just going to the A, that little extra bit of rhythm helps. Now at that point you could do whatever you wanted in A. I'm going to show you what I did. You could just play a real slow A shuffle there to define the rhythm that way if you wanted, just to mix it up. Or you can do this, which is what I did. So I just hit the A part once. Now all I'm hitting there is the 5th string, and then I've got the bar here on the 4th fret, or I'm sorry, on the 2nd fret. First 4 strings on the 2nd fret, and I'm playing strings 5, 4, and 3. So that's all I hit of the A chord, and then there's a stop there. There's a rest, which you'll see in the tab, and then I come up here and go and play this little double stop thing, which is great. This is another takeaway that I want you to walk away with, so that you can use this when you're playing any kind of lead work. So now to play this lead part, I always like to tie them back to chords. That way, you can, when you're improvising, you can always visualize where the chord is in the song, and you've got these licks that play off of the chords. And so in this case, we're going to the A part. So what I'm visualizing is an A major bar chord. So to play this chord, I've got my bar here on the 5th fret, and using these 3 fingers, I'm making an E chord shape, the same chord you'd make down in 1st position, making it here. So that becomes my anchor point, if you will, mentally, visually. Even though I'm not playing that, I see that on the neck. Now what I do is I take these 2 fingers, my ring finger, my pinky, and I'm going to go up 1 fret from where they are. So I'm going to go up to this fret, and I'm going to put my index finger down on the 8th, so in this case it would be the 8th fret 2nd string. Then I'm going to go up 1 more fret, and I'm going to go to the 9th fret 4th string with my middle finger. And that becomes the starting point for this double stop that goes. So from here I slide up 2 more frets. So I start there on the 4th string, and then I use my ring finger with my right hand to pluck that string. You can pick it if you want. It's up to you. I always find it easier to pluck it because my hand just naturally fits there. And then I slide them both down 2 frets, letting them ring out. And that's how I'm playing that. Now look, just the takeaway though is look how that plays off of this chord. So for example, if we were playing an F sharp major, you do the same thing. See how that works? So you've got these little licks that you can start working in, and just take this one lick and try it over different jam tracks, and see what you can do with it. Okay. Okay, so from here, now there's another part to this that goes, so there's a little continuation. We could keep going down the neck, but this is a little phrase that I can't remember where I heard it originally, but I use it a lot. It's very bluesy, and it's very easy to find once you know how to do it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to take this shape, and I'm going to now put both fingers in the same fret. So now I've got my middle finger on the 7th fret 4th string, my ring fingers on the 7th fret 2nd string. And I'm going to use that same effect where I slide into it and slide that down to the 5th fret. So same same shape, but we're down going from the 7th fret to the 5th fret. So backing up, that whole lick goes like this. Really cool, very bluesy, very simple. Sometimes the easiest, the most simple phrases that you can play on the guitar are the most elegant, and they actually have the biggest impact. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking it's got to be something really fast or over the top, but you can wow people with something that sounds very thought out and planned out like that. And what they don't realize is it's just a little trick that you're using, if you want to think of it that way, where you're just basing these shapes off of chords. That's how I think of it. Okay, so after we've got that, then I played, and that's playing right off that A chord. So I'm staying in A world because we're still in the A part of the song. And what I'm doing, I'm back to visualizing this A major bar chord here. And I go ahead and bar the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. My ring finger goes down on the 7th fret 3rd string, and I play string 3 and 2. Kind of a cool little sound, little clash there. And then I did a hammer on. So I kept that bar there on the 5th fret and do a hammer on to the 6th fret 3rd string. My ring finger goes down to the 7th fret 4th string, and then my index finger goes down to the 5th fret 4th string. So that little phrase goes really cool. I use that a lot too. So if you're playing, a blues in G, See how it plays off the chord? It's just really all you're doing is you're tracing the notes of the chord. If you visualize what's going on there, you could keep going down the notes of the chord if you wanted. So let's put that A part together from the beginning of the A. It goes. And then in the intro I did a little slide down. I just came up here somewhere high in the neck, hit the 6th string, and slid down. And the only reason I did that was to create kind of like a percussive element. Right back into that. Okay, so let's put the two parts together now. Everything that we've learned from the beginning. I'll play through it slowly, and that will conclude this first video. We'll go into the other two, the other A part and the B part in the next video. So here we go from the beginning.